There's a reason manifestation hasn't been working the way you thought it would. And it has nothing to do with how many affirmations you repeat, how long you visualize, or how much effort you put into thinking positive. Because right now, in this very moment, something else is running the show. Something so powerful, so absolute, that no technique can override it. And until you see it, manifestation will always feel like a struggle. Have you ever noticed how reality never seems to take instruction directly? You affirm wealth, but your bank account doesn't move. You visualize love, but relationships remain distant. It's like the universe is ignoring your efforts. But it's not. It's simply obeying something deeper, something you don't even realize you're broadcasting. See, manifestation isn't about forcing thoughts into existence. It's about the thoughts that already exist within you, the ones you assume to be true without question. The ones that feel so natural, you don't even recognize them as assumptions. And this is where most people get stuck. They try to plant new thoughts on top of old, deeply rooted assumptions. They tell themselves I am wealthy, while their core belief whispers, money is hard to come by. They affirm I am loved, while their subconscious quietly insists, I always get abandoned. And the subconscious always wins. Because manifestation doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you believe when you're not saying anything at all. Imagine reality as a mirror. Not a magic wish-granting mirror, but a flawless reflection of your inner world. It doesn't give you what you ask for, it shows you who you are being. Most people spend their lives trying to manipulate the reflection. They reach for the glass, trying to change what they see, fixing, chasing, efforting. They believe that if they can just force the outer world into submission, they'll finally get what they want. They tweak, they adjust, they hustle. But no matter how hard they try, the reflection stays the same. But that's not how mirrors work. The reflection only changes when you do. If you want to see something different in the mirror, you have to become something different. Not by pretending, not by forcing, but by truly shifting your internal state, your beliefs, your assumptions, your identity. And this is the secret thought pattern that changes everything. Manifestation isn't about inserting new thoughts into your mind. It's about identifying what you already assume to be true, because that's what's manifesting. Your assumptions are the root cause of everything you experience. You don't manifest what you desire, you manifest what you believe at the deepest level. If you believe love is hard to find, you'll experience difficulty in relationships. If you believe money is scarce, you'll struggle financially. If you believe you're not good enough, life will keep reflecting circumstances that reinforce that belief. It's not about adding something new. It's about uncovering what's already there. Most people think manifestation is about control, controlling their thoughts, controlling their feelings, controlling their reality. They try to micromanage every detail, thinking that if they can just think the right thoughts or say the right affirmations, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, control is an illusion. You don't need control. You need to let go of what's been controlling you. What's been controlling you are the unconscious beliefs you've accepted as truth. The ones that have shaped your reality without you even realizing it. The ones that dictate how you see yourself, what you believe is possible, and what you expect from life. Instead of controlling your external world, shift your internal world. Become aware of your habitual assumptions and decide whether they serve you or limit you. Your assumptions act as instructions to reality, telling it what to reflect back to you. If you assume you are loved, you will experience love effortlessly. If you assume money flows to you easily, your reality will mirror that assumption. If you assume you are successful, opportunities will appear seemingly out of nowhere. The mirror doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. It simply reflects. So instead of trying to force the world to change, turn inward. See yourself as the person who already has what they want. Feel the truth of that within you. Because when you shift, the mirror has no choice but to shift too. Think about this. Does a wealthy person wake up every morning desperately affirming, I am rich, I am rich? No, they don't need to. Wealth isn't something they have to convince themselves of. It's something they embody. They wake up and go about their day as someone who is already wealthy, not because they were necessarily born into money, but because, at some point, wealth became normal for them. It became their baseline reality, their default state. They don't question it. They don't overanalyze it. They don't feel the need to remind themselves every second of the day that they are rich because their actions, decisions, and thoughts already stem from the assumption of wealth. The same applies to confidence. Does a confident person have to stand in front of a mirror every morning, repeating, I am confident in hopes that one day they will believe it? No, they just are. Confidence isn't something they try to have. It's something they embody naturally. It's second nature. They don't need to force themselves into thinking confident thoughts because their mind is already filled with the kind of thoughts that a confident person has. Their actions align with this self-concept without hesitation. This is the real pattern most people miss. The moment something becomes normal for you, it manifests effortlessly, not because you forced it into existence, not because you tirelessly affirmed it until it finally showed up, but because your subconscious accepted it as truth, and once that happens, reality has no choice but to comply. The world around you shifts to accommodate the version of yourself that you have internalized. Your subconscious is always listening. It is always shaping your experiences based on what it believes to be true about you and the world. If something feels like a natural part of your identity, your subconscious will reflect it without resistance. This is why the most effortless manifestations come from deep-seated beliefs rather than surface-level affirmation. And this is also why those who struggle the most with manifestation are the ones who try the hardest. Because effort implies lack. Struggle reinforces separation. When you are constantly trying to manifest something, you are, in essence, reinforcing the idea that it is separate from you, that you do not already have it. And since reality mirrors your inner world, it continues to reflect that gap back to you. Think of it like chasing a shadow. The more you run toward it, the more it moves away. The harder you try, the more resistance you create. Manifestation is not about forcing something into being. It is about allowing it to unfold naturally by shifting your self-concept to align with it. So the real question isn't, how do I manifest? The real question is, what am I already manifesting effortlessly, just by being who I am right now? Because that's the answer. Your current reality is undeniable proof of what your subconscious already believes to be true. Every situation, every relationship, every opportunity is a reflection of the assumptions you hold. If you want to change your life, don't start with effort. Start with awareness. Ask yourself, what feels normal to me? What do I expect without question? What do I assume is just the way things are? That's where the power lies. Shift that, and everything shifts. The mind works in patterns. The way you think today isn't random, it's a cycle. Your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors follow deeply ingrained loops, repeating themselves day after day. And unless something disrupts that cycle, your future will be a continuation of your past. This is why so many people feel stuck, as if they're living the same experiences over and over again, no matter how hard they try to change. It's not because they aren't capable of change. It's because they're unknowingly thinking from the same state of being, reinforcing the same assumptions that keep them in place. Most people never break free because they keep thinking from the same version of themselves. The version that struggles, the version that waits, the version that doubts. And when you think from that version, you act from that version. You perceive the world from that version. You make decisions from that version. And so, the world responds accordingly, mirroring back the same limitations, the same delays, the same frustrations. But there's another way. Instead of trying to force change, imagine already being the version of you who has it. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's not about pretending or faking it. It's about shifting your perception, stepping into the mindset of the person who already experiences the reality you desire. Instead of seeing your goal as something distant, separate from you, begin thinking from the place where it's already normal, where it's already yours. Don't force the thought, let it feel natural. Forcing creates resistance. When you try to push a thought into your mind, you unconsciously reinforce the idea that you don't already believe it, that it isn't yours yet. But when you let the thought emerge naturally, when you allow yourself to step into it without struggle, it becomes easier for your subconscious to accept. What does this version of you think about? What does this version of you worry about? Because they're not worried about the things you are right now. A person in love isn't obsessing over when love will come. A person who is wealthy isn't wondering if money will arrive. A person who is successful isn't stressing over whether they'll make it. They are simply living in that reality. Their concerns, their daily thoughts, their automatic assumptions are entirely different from someone who is still hoping, still waiting, still trying. They don't think about whether they have enough, they assume they do. They don't stress over lack because lack is no longer a part of their world. And this is the shift that changes everything. The moment you start thinking from that reality, instead of about it, your subconscious takes it as truth. Your subconscious doesn't question, it simply accepts and reflects. The thoughts you repeatedly dwell on become embedded in your self-concept. And when your self-concept aligns with the version of you who already has what you desire, your actions, emotions, and expectations shift effortlessly. And once your subconscious takes it as truth, reality must follow. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. There is no effort in becoming what you already are. And that's the shift. Right now, you might be thinking, but how do I believe something that isn't real yet? That's the paradox. It's not about forcing belief. It's about realizing that everything you've ever manifested felt normal before it showed up. Before anything became part of your reality, there was a point when it was just an idea, something you didn't have yet. But then, at some point, it became so natural, so integrated into your sense of self, that it no longer felt like something you had to think about. It just was. Think about it, right now, your life might feel ordinary, predictable, even frustrating. But to someone else, your life would feel like a miracle. There are people who dream of what you already have. Your job, your home, your relationships, even the things you take for granted. There are people out there who are actively manifesting what you wake up to every day. That's not to say you should stop desiring more. It's to highlight a truth. Everything that is now normal for you was once something you didn't have, something you were striving for, something you wanted. And the same is true for the version of you who has everything you want. To them, it's just life. It's not magical, it's not extraordinary, it's just how things are. The person who is already in the loving relationship isn't waking up every day in shock that they have love. They aren't constantly affirming, I am loved because they don't need to. It's their reality. It's normal. The wealthy person isn't spending hours trying to convince themselves they're rich. They just operate from that mindset effortlessly because their subconscious already accepts it. And the sooner you step into that normalcy, the sooner it becomes real. Because that's how manifestation truly works. Not by forcing, not by controlling, but by shifting the foundation of who you are. This is why some people seem to manifest with ease while others struggle endlessly. It's never about effort. It's never about how hard you try. It's about identity, about what your subconscious accepts as normal. When you see yourself as the person who naturally has what you desire, your external world will have no choice but to reflect it. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that reality mirrors your state of being, everything shifts. You stop fighting, stop chasing, stop waiting. You realize you never had to force anything, only to become the version of yourself who already has it. And once you embody it, everything changes. Reality doesn't bend to those who try the hardest. Reality bends to those who already are. Now, I want to hear from you. What's something you once wished for that now feels completely normal? Drop a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts.